Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. And Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be based on this double shooting that took place in Milwaukee. So, through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. It says 24-year-old killed in Milwaukee double shooting. It says a 24-year-old is dead and a 25-year-old was injured after a double shooting near 24th Place and Capitol Drive on May 3rd, according to the Milwaukee Police Department. Police said it happened around 3:20 p.m. A 24-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene while the 25-year-old was taken to the hospital. Police said they are still investigating the shooting, but it appears to be the result of an argument. So yeah, just more evidence of the love of many waxing cold. Matthew 24:12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And that's what we're witnessing. We're witnessing the love of many wax cold. That's why there's so much more violence happening in the world. The Lord is removing that caring spirit that people once had. People would help each other out and things like that. That's going out the window. There's more hit and runs, there's more stabbings, there's more shootings, there's more fights breaking out. And it's happening between family members, friends, co-workers, strangers. We're just in that time. We're in that time and season of, the love of many waxing cold, lots of division and violence. Ecclesiasticus 39:28, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So the person who was pulling the trigger was a spirit of vengeance sent by the Lord to lay sore strokes upon those two people that got hit. The 24-year-old who died and the 25-year-old who got injured. Unless the 24 and 25-year-old was shooting at each other, then, then they, one of them just killed the other one. Verse 29, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. And seeing as one of them died, the Lord's spirit of vengeance in form of death was present in this particular situation. Deuteronomy 32:39, see now that I, even I am he, and there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. And in this particular judgment, the Lord killed one person and wounded another. And these are the judgments of the Heavenly Father. These are just some of the ways in which he punishes these wicked people. Psalms 9:16, the Lord Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Higgaion Selah. So basically, the wickedness that these people are out here doing, eventually it catches up to them in the form of the Lord's judgment befalling them. Psalm 7 and 11. Yahweh judgeth the righteous, and Yahweh is angry with the wicked every day. And clearly the Heavenly Father is angry with the wicked every day. That's why every day judgment takes place, and people get wounded and killed, and there's a lot of destruction that takes place. Just take a look at everything that's happening here in America and in the rest of the world. Wars, diseases, fires, storms, tempests, earthquakes, just a lot of chaos and death and destruction. And that's the anger of the Lord being manifested. And things are only going to get worse because we're in the last days. So the Lord is going to continue to turn up his judgments, and more of these wicked people are going to get wounded and or killed as a result. Hebrews 10:31, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. And that's right. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Lord, because those two people that were involved in this shooting, they didn't wake up and plan on getting into a shooting, you know? But yet that's what the Lord wanted, and that's what happened. And now one of them is dead and one of them is in the hospital. This is why you're supposed to fear the Lord. Because when you fear the Lord, you're going to be moving more righteously. You know, you're not going to be out here being wicked because you're going to be afraid of the consequences. And a lot of people clearly are not afraid of the consequences. That's why they're out here being wicked and being a bunch of demons. And all of these different judgments that are taking place are basically the Lord sending out warnings, letting people know that this is what can happen to you. This is one of the ways that he can punish you for being wicked. But because a lot of people out here are so carnal, you know, it doesn't even register in their mind that that's what this is. And the scriptures tell us, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. When you think and move carnally, it's going to end badly. But when you think and move spiritually, it's going to end better for you, because when you think and move spiritually, you know, you're going to, you know, as far as the scriptures are concerned, you're going to, you know, be doing more righteous things. You're going to be more cautious and more aware of what you're doing. You know, you're not going to do certain things because you're going to be like, oh, that's not okay in the eyes of the Lord. You know, and you don't want to anger the Lord because you see what happens to those whom the Lord is angry with. You know, that's why in Proverbs 19 and 23, it says, the fear of the Lord Yahweh tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. When you move righteously, the Lord is pleased with you, and he's not going to send these type of judgments upon you. Like, you will get chastised, but, you know, that's better than, you know, the heavy judgments that we constantly are reading about people receiving. You know, the Lord will chastise you, you know, just to, you know, keep you on that straight path. But it'd be better for him to do that than for him to put you in a situation like this. You know, two people, you know, a shooting, and one of them ends up dead and one of them ends up in the hospital. That's why brothers are constantly saying, you know, to fear the Lord. Because when you fear the Lord, you're going to move differently. But we know that majority of people out here don't fear the Lord, and they're not going to fear the Lord. They're just going to continue to wax more and more wicked until the Lord puts them to death. And that's why we're going to see an uptick in people dying. Because these are all wicked people who have provoked the Heavenly Father unto wrath with their continual wickedness. That's why it says in Job 4 and 7, remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? And the answer is that nobody has ever perished being innocent. So these people that die in these shootings and stabbings and car crashes and hit and runs and fires and all of that, those are not innocent people in the eyes of the Lord. Those are wicked people. And the Lord gave them chance after chance after chance to get right, and they didn't. So eventually the Lord just sent his spirit of vengeance to put them to death. Because there was nothing else he could do. Well, not nothing else he could do, but, at that point, the Lord was just like, he understands that some people are never going to get right. So he just, takes them off the earth. But like I said, we're going to see a lot more of this. We are living in the last days. So, we should be expecting to see more people getting put in the spirit world. More violence breaking out. More division. More of the love of many waxing cold. More wicked people reaping what they've sown. But with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, the Wadi Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are still fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. And shalom to all the sincere believers. Hope you stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up, and Adawan Ratzazah. Until next time, shalom.